Hey guys, welcome back to another one of my kit videos. In this kit video, we're going to be looking at some Faceless sniper upgrades for my Silverback SRS sniper piston thing. So this is already pretty upgraded. This is the Silverback variable mass piston. You can see on here as well, I've already got some pretty nice Faceless sniper bits. I've got the Mousefart V1.13 or 1.3 head on here, and that's got a pom ring at the top, and it's also got a pom ring at the bottom as well, which just kind of stabilizes the piston when it's within the cylinder. When you pull it back, when the sear holds it, there is a possibility that it could just dip a little bit like that, and what these spacers do is they just kind of stop that dip, so you just get a nice kind of perfectly horizontal movement. So in this pack, this setup, it comes with this. This is the 1.4 upgrade. So this is the latest Mousefart, if you like, and this is backwards compatible onto the 1.3 head. And you can just see on here, the 1.3 head is an aluminium top, which is kind of milled out there. Nice and clean, as you can see. I like to keep my sniper very, very nice and clean. And it has this shaft, which has got multiple O-rings on it. And it makes... it's always bothered me a little bit if I run a bit too heavy on here that it could completely destroy this end. And the 1.4 version effectively removes that and swaps it for a completely rubber piece. So that's probably going to seal a little bit better. We'll have to see how it goes, but what we're going to do is we're going to install that. So what I also ordered as part of it is one of these. This is an upgraded O-ring, which Faceless does, and this replaces the stock V1.3 O-ring just here, just to provide a slightly better seal, so you get a little bit more consistency. So with an SRS sniper, they are very good out of the box, and I will go on to state that generally speaking, you can't go a long way wrong with an SRS Silverback as long as you kind of keep fairly bland with your upgrades. But with a bolt-action sniper rifle, it's all about one shot. You have to build it for one shot, so sometimes single-figure percentage increases are a godsend. And with the snipers, you know, getting that seal right is there. The more consistent the seal is, the more consistent your shots are going to be, the better it's going to be. You know, you're going to be on point more often with those shots and follow-up shots. So I've already got one of those. These are £1, so I thought I'll just chuck one on the order anyway. You can see in the background here, I do have a Faceless patch. It's a very cool patch. I ordered that a while ago, actually. It was on one of my first orders, and it's doing a very nice placeholder for me here, so I can see whereabouts my hands are as I work. I'm going to try not to kind of work here on this one. I'm going to try and make it so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So, let's start taking this thing apart. So, to get this old one off, it is just a case of unscrewing this aluminium shaft. And to do that, you just grab it and twist. Now, if you have ever taken this apart before, you should have thread locked it and put it back together. I haven't, so mine came out quite easily. So you can just see there's a little bit of thread, nice and clean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set that to one side. And then you can just see the head of my piston there. I'll give it a quick thumb over, nice and clean. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to start sticking pliers all over it and like trying to really rip it in or anything like that. I'm going to do a bit of a test fit first with my fingers, see how well it goes on. And then we've got a little bit of the old magic Loctite. So we'll just spin that in. So that could just be slightly nipped with a set of pliers, which I think I will actually do. Once I can put my hands on some. But first we've got something very important that we need to do to this to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Thread lock, and to do that I am going to need some long nose pliers just to dip it in because my thread lock is starting to run out. So just give me 2 seconds while I grab those. We never have the tool bag far away, and I'm going to use what is probably one of my oldest tools. The good old pliers. So what we'll do is we'll just move that out of the way to there, crack the head off this, so you can see there's a good amount in there. I'm just going to grab hold of it and just dob it around this edge. With Loctite you don't need a lot, especially with parts like this. Airsoft parts you don't need a lot because they don't come under a lot of stresses, generally speaking. Obviously gearbox components do, but you're not Loctite and gearbox components in, are you? Just enough, just to wet your end. There we go. And contrary to popular belief, threadlock will not dry out in air. It's like an antioxidant. It requires a lack of air to start going off. So it's not just going to suddenly start going off as I hold it around like this. So I'm really not fussed about that. Put it over there. Anaerobic, is that the word for it? I'm not sure. So we're going to start screwing this in. Nice and easy, just making sure it goes in by hand. We're not forcing it at all, just going to let it screw together. And then I'm going to just use my fingers to try and push that together. That's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use ribbed part of these pliers. Ooh, as you can see there, I'm not gripping tightly with them. To just turn that in a little bit. So I'm trying not to damage the head there. And I've got a cloth, which is under a hammer and a punch. I'm just going to cloth around there. So really what you should do when you thread lock like this is you should leave your thread lock for 24 hours before you use it, which is what I'm going to do. But what I am going to do is I'm going to fit this as well whilst I'm at it. So this is the rubber tip for my mouse fart. And as you can see there, it just pushes in. So let's see how that works. Done. Tip. My tip has been... I was going to say my tip has been erected, but that's probably the wrong wording. My tip has been installed. There we go. And that is it. That is now a mouse fart 1.4 with the retro kit thing installed. We'll need to do some testing. We'll need to do some test shots just to make sure that we're on point for power, that kind of thing. But all being well, that is going to be that. Might chuck another aluminium spacer on here just so I can get rid of a spacer off the back of my spring guide. And there we go. Happy days. We're out and on it. That's pretty much it, really, unless you know something I don't about these SRS pistons. I'm just putting a little bit of oil around this O-ring. Fairly new O-ring. It's had a couple of outings, not many. I'm hoping to try and get out with the SRS in the next week or so. So that's always a bonus as well there, isn't it? Smashing stuff. There we go. And then the old 1.3 head, just in case I decide to go back to it, safely in the bag to go back in the drawer. There we go, guys. That is an SRS variable mass piston with mouse fault 1.3 to 1.4 conversion. Nice and simple. If you like the video, please hit that like button. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about the SRS. Let me know what you think about the mouse fart. Let me know if you use any other kind. Yes, I know there is the Wasp piston, and unfortunately I'm not going to be buying one of those because I've got this and it works great. And of course, if you are still watching, please hit that sub button and join me on my YouTubing journey as I try and knock out weekly clickbait-free content for you. Thank you very much. I will catch you in the next one.